Ope Shugopika Radha Kanta Namo Suste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vishabhanu Sutadevi Prananami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhrashta Kripa Sindhuva Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Shri Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we welcome everyone to daily Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today's reading is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 3, text number 4. Hare Krishna to everyone. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Uddhava is continuing to speak about Krishna to Vidura. And as we discussed last week, as we noted, these first two chapters of the third canto are unique. There's so much Krishna Lila, which we will not find again until the 10th canto. So what is notable, one thing notable about this third chapter, it begins, Uddhava is relating Lord Krishna's pastimes in Mathura. Kakulmino vidana shodamitva swayambare nagjitam uvaha tad bhagnamanam api gridyato gyan jagne shataha shasta brita shastrai. And word for word, Kakudmina, bulls, Avida Nashaha, whose noses were not pierced, Dimitwa, subduing, Swayam Vare, in the open competition to select the bridegroom, Nagnajitim, Princess Nagnajiti, Uvaha, married, Tad Bhagnamanan. In that way, all who were disappointed, Api, even though, Grilyata, wanted, Agyan, the fools, Jagne, killed and wounded, Akshataha, without being wounded, Shastra Britta, equipped with all weapons, Swa Shastrai, by his own weapons. Translation, by subduing 7 bulls whose noses were not pierced, the Lord achieved the hand of Princess Nagnijiti in the open competition to select her bridegroom. Although the Lord was victorious, his competitors asked the hand of the princess, and thus there was a fight. Well equipped with weapons, the Lord killed or wounded all of them, but he himself was not hurt. In text 5, Priyam Prabhogramya Evir Priyaya Viditsura Dutarum Yadarte Rajadravatan Sagano Rusanda Krida Mrigo Nunam Ayam Vadunam. Priyam, of the dear wife, Prabhu, the Lord, Gramya, ordinary living being, Eva, in the manner of, Priyaya, just to please, Viritsu, wishing, Arichat, brought about, Dutarum, the Parijata flower tree, Yat, for which, Arte, in the matter of, Vajri, Indra, the king of heaven, Adravatam, went forward to fight with him, Sagana, with full strength, Rusha, in anger, Anda, blind, Krita, Briga, henpecked, Nunam, of course, Ayam, this, Vadunam, of the wives. Translation, just to please his dear wife, the Lord brought back the Parijata tree from heaven, just as an ordinary husband would do. But Indra, the king of heaven, induced by his wives, henpecked as he was, ran after the Lord with full force to fight him. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Lord once went to the heavenly planet to present an earring to Aditi, the mother of the demigods, and his wife Satyabhama also went with him. There is a special flowering tree called the Parijata, which grows only in the heavenly planets, and Satyabhama wanted this tree. Just to please his wife, like an ordinary husband, the Lord brought back the tree, and this enraged Vajri, or the controller of the thunderbolt. Indra's wives inspired him to run after the Lord to fight, and Indra, because he was a henpecked husband and also a fool, listened to them and dared to fight with Krishna. He was a fool on this occasion because he forgot that everything belongs to the Lord. There was no fault on the part of the Lord, even though he took away the tree from the heavenly kingdom, but because Indra was henpecked, dominated by his beautiful wives like Shachi, he became a fool, just as all persons who are dominated by their wives are generally foolish. Indra thought that Krishna was a henpecked husband who only by the will of his wife Satyabhama took away the property of heaven, and therefore he thought that Krishna could be punished. He forgot that the Lord is the proprietor of everything and cannot be henpecked. The Lord is fully independent, and by his will only he can have hundreds and thousands of wives like Satyabhama. He was not therefore attached to Satyabhama because she was a beautiful wife, but he was pleased with her devotional service and thus wanted to reciprocate the unalloyed devotion of his devotee. So I was thinking this past few days how there's so many famous persons in the world. You have Gandhi. Almost everyone knows the name of Gandhi. And the kings of Europe. You have King Henry and King Charles. And all over the world there are famous people, famous celebrities, actors, actresses. Every country has their celebrities. Uh, just like now, Modi, the Prime Minister of India. So there's many biographies, right, that are written about famous people, sometimes in autobiography. But I was thinking how unique uh, the writing about Lord Krishna, because when you read a biography, it describes their childhood, their parents, where they lived, where they grew up, the school they went to, how they did in college, their different achievements, right? The kind of occupation they had, and who they married. Those are the typical things, isn't it? What they did to become notable, just like taking Modi or any famous actor. I'm not familiar with India, but take any one of them. But never do we find this detail that just like in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, what's there is from Krishna's birth, right? With Vasudeva and Devaki and so much detail about that. I can't think of any biography about anyone. They say, they grew up in a particular town, and, say they grew up in Calcutta and went to this school, and then they went to this high school and this college. But in the 10th canto, we find detailed descriptions of some of the dealings between Lord Krishna and his mother and with his cowherd boyfriends. I've never seen that. With the different names of the cowherd boyfriends and how they would play, all those kind of detail. And then how much detail do we ever find about girlfriends? That, take Modi. All right, so he had two romantic relationships in college, but there's no detail. They went to this, maybe in a movie. Movies do that, but not books. And think about that. Not only the girlfriends, but the friends of the girlfriend. Because in Srimad Bhagavatam, we hear about not only the gopis uh, or the immediate uh, cowherd young ladies that Lord Krishna would joke with and play with, but they're friends. And not in Srimad Bhagavatam, but there are other literatures by Srila Rupa Goswami and other followers of Lord Chaitanya that describe in detail what the girlfriends wear, what they're very good at. Some of them are good at cooking, some are good at making flower arrangements, some are good at making cosmetics. And this is all in relationship to the biography of this person, Krishna. Uh, and then so much detail about his life. And not only that, uh, the Srila Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, in the last half, especially the last third, Srila Rupa Goswami goes into deep analysis, very detail about how all the different people in Lord Krishna's lives, they had particular feelings in the different rasas, Shanta Ras, Dasya Ras, Sakya Ras, Madhurya Ras, and then those are the five main rasas, and then there's seven indirect rasas where feelings of astonishment and fear, uh, and then 32 other different kinds of emotions. And Srila Rupa Goswami goes on to describe how Kamsa in this situation had this emotional feeling for Krishna and Devaki and Jashoda. Where do you ever hear that? Modi's servant, how Modi's driver feels. Maybe in a movie a little bit, but uh, why? Why such detail about this Krishna? And we know that for centuries, for hundreds and hundreds of years throughout India, and not just India, uh, Cambodia, Thailand, Indonesia, parts of Malaysia, Sri Lanka, which is essentially part of India, uh, the different neighboring provinces of India, of course, Manipur and Bhutan and Assam. Uh, so much about Krishna, literature, poetry, dances. The Manipur dances are so famous. Uh, so Krishna, as a historical, even Lord Krishna and Balaram, they're engraved on a Greek coin because the Greeks, Alexander the Great, and others, they came to India. So they brought back information about this Lord Krishna. So so Lord Krishna, historical person, uh, and here, uh, you know, like kings or a powerful prince, we have at least in the past in Punjab, well-known Sikh uh, Kshatriyas, well-known. There's so many families that go back, military, capable. So Krishna, so powerful, killing demons, even at a young age, but also an excellent flute player, a musical. He's a musician and very humorous. So we read all these different descriptions of Lord Krishna's personality, which is unusual. We don't find such detail written about that. We don't find other famous people having all these different qualities, maybe one or two or three. You have the actresses and models, they're very handsome or beautiful, but they may not be very musical, something. So, but Krishna, he's, um, Srila Rupa Goswami describes, isn't it, 64 different qualities. He actually lists 64 different characteristics, just like all of us have some friend or two or three friends or whatever, or we know our managers, and they have certain qualities, isn't it? They're good technically, or they're quick mathematicians, or maybe they're humorous, they're funny, they make jokes, or so qualities of, but who? 64 prominent personality. So this is described about Lord Krishna. Uh, so who is this Lord Krishna? Uh, this historical person of India, so to speak. And then not only that, not just a powerful fighter, and he had many wives and uh, spoke Bhagavad Gita, but he is revered, worshipped as God all over India and even other countries. Uh, it's not just, we are part of uh, what's called the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, this Sampradaya from Madhva Acharya, a branch of Madhva Acharya's Sampradaya. But there's other Sampradayas. Uh, the Sri Sampradaya, Sri Ramanuja Acharya, although mostly Lord Vishnu, still the Alvars, there were these famous sages, devotees of Krishna, of Vishnu, and they wrote thousands of verses of poetry and songs. They're amazing. And many of them are related to Vraja, to Vrindavan Dham, and the Sakya Ras and Vatsalya Rasa and the Madhurya Rasa. Yes. Uh, Srila Madhvacharya himself installed a deity of Gopal Krishna. Madhvacharya, he is well known in universities around the world in the philosophy departments or religious departments. He is well known as a very, very respected scholar, a very respected philosopher, a very respected logician. He's not just anyone, this Madhvacharya of South India. And he was a devotee of Gopal Krishna. So what does that indicate? There must be something special about this Krishna. And there are so many personalities like Srila. So I mean to say that sometimes people will say, well, why do you believe all this? Krishna, he's just some person. And, there's some questionable activities of Krishna. So, uh, so it's a good question. It's a fair question. Uh, and I like to, revisit with everyone this principle of faith. Faith. Uh, atheistic people, and not just atheistic people. Uh, they'll make fun. Oh, you just believe. You just have faith. Have you seen Krishna? Have you seen God? Have you seen the spiritual world? You people, you just have faith, right? And it makes us wonder, well, I don't know, you're right. I haven't seen Krishna directly. I haven't seen the spiritual world. And I do have, maybe there's something wrong with me. I have some disease. I have faith. So these things are said by people who don't think very deeply. And I'll explain why. Sometimes, I mean, I'm guilty of it too. Sometimes I don't think before I say something. But how many people make plans that tonight I must get home by 7 p.m. There's a television show. I want to see that on the telly. It's my favorite show. I want to see it's the surprise ending. Need to get home. Do they know? Do we know that show? Would we bet our life on it? Will you bet your life that that show will be on tonight? No, we won't do that because we have that dirty 5-letter word, faith. You have faith. You believe that show will be. When you go outside to start your motor scooter or car in the morning, you don't know it will start. You wouldn't bet your life on it. Someone could have stolen the batteries. The battery could have gone dead over the night. Anything could have happened, but we don't know. Isn't that a fact? We have, what do we have? We have faith. We believe. So we can twist soon as someone speaks like that, and we can say, yeah, you're right. We should not be defensive. We should take the offensive and say, you're completely correct. I do have faith. You must have done very well in school, and you have faith too. And then we can point out 2 or 3 things that may cause them to think, oh, wait a minute. I operate my life on faith too. I do. We all do. So the real thing is not whether we have faith or not, but do we have reasonable faith? That's the thing. Yeah, every morning for the past 3 months, I go out, I start my motor scooter. There's no, I didn't hear anyone outside last night. There's no reason for me to think that there's something wrong with my motor scooter. Uh, I won't bet my life on it, but I have good reason to think that it will start, right? Or we go to catch a train or whatever it is. So why do I have faith or confidence? We can say confidence. Why am I confident that this Krishna Bhakti, this Hare Krishna, that it's true? And it's good to think about once in a while. Why do I have confidence? And there's different reasons why all of us have confidence. Ultimately, it should be that we have experience by practicing the principles of sadhana bhakti. We have such experience that no one has to tell us anything. No one has to convince us. We have our own experience. So, yes, I've experienced many things about this have that were true, and therefore I have no reason to think that anything else that I have not experienced directly is not true, and that's reasonable. Suppose someone, gives us some recipes for making biscuits or something, and we try 2 or 3 and it comes out very good. Why should we think that the next recipe will also not be? Because we have personal experience. So this is one thing. And then the other thing, uh, what kind of solid other people believe it? I mean, they could be wrong, but it's something. It's certainly something. If someone is very well read and has a lot of experience of things in this world and they're very knowledgeable, and they're not a silly person. They're serious kind of person, very serious kind of person. They don't do things that waste their time. And so then if they support, accept, oh yes, this is a very good thing, there's probably something to it. So that was my point. So Srila Madhvacharya is such a well-respected person. And there's so many, so many. Even so that is, he was in the 1200s. It's a long time ago, long time ago. How much is that? 900? No, 800 years ago. 750 years. That's a long, relatively long time. But Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the follower of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the great spiritual master, great grandfather, grand spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada. He was just there in India, late 1800s, very early 1900s. Uh, he has an autobiography, and there's biography. He's a historical person. How he taught, teacher, his occupation was teaching. In his early years, he got a law degree and practiced law. And then he was part of the judicial system here. The British government employed him, and he became a high court judge. Can you imagine a high court judge? He was no silly person. You can't be some silly person and then you're high court judge, especially the British are not going to hire. And then he was put in charge of the Jagannath Puri temple. The British government put him in charge, responsible, very, very, very responsible. And then uh, anyone who has some, knows something about Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was a teacher. He was a college graduate. He was so well read. Books around the world, philosophers around the world. He was not just a Hindu fanatic. I only know Hinduism, but he was familiar with all the religions and philosophies of the world. And what did he do in his spare time? Uh, Amazing, amazing person, Srila Bhaktivinoda. He would work all day, and he would have a little something to eat. And I think he would rest a little bit, but then he would write all night, like from 12 midnight, 1 a.m. until the morning. Wow. That's, after a long day, right? Who does that? You just eat a little something and then you're up all night. And what was he doing all night? Writing over 100 books about Krishna. He was such uh, so much in love with Krishna. This Krishna that Uddhava is talking about, the chariot driver of Arjuna, who was a member of the Yadu dynasty, this historical personality. So there must be something about Krishna which is so very special, whether we understand it immediately or not. There's something. It's not uh, ordinary. There's a saying that familiarity breeds contempt, or we don't have the same feeling of respect about something because we see it every day. So sometimes people who have grown up hearing about Krishna a lot, and it just yes, I know Krishna. Yes. Sometimes when you're in the thick of the trees of a forest, it's difficult to see the whole forest, how amazing the forest is. So Lord Krishna is amazing from any point of view. Lord Krishna is an amazing personality. And he is worshipped, as we know, and has been worshipped. And in his Bhagavad Gita, he declares himself, and Arjuna accepts him not just as a friend or the son of Mother Yashoda, but as Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he, Lord Krishna, in the 11th chapter, the end of 1155, 1156, he gives a way, if anyone's interested, to realize him. Bhaktimam abhijananti yavanas chatmi tatvataha, that if you want to understand me as I am, then practice bhakti unto me, practice devotional service, and I will reveal myself to you. Not just faith, not just faith. We're all related with Krishna. Lord Krishna says, my vamsho, jiva loka, jiva bhuta sanatana. Everyone all over the world, everyone all over the universe is part of Bhagavan, part of Krishna. It doesn't matter what country we're in, what planet we're on. Krishna is not Indian. Uh, so we all have a relationship with him, and he appeared, as we know. Namo Mahavadhanaya, Krishna Prema Pradayate, Krishnaya, Krishna Chaitanya Namne, Gaurata Shedam, just some 550 years ago in West Bengal, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivas, dancing and chanting and glorifying Krishna, uh, intense, loving devotion to Krishna, which he reignited this Krishna bhakti all over India, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and his followers. Lord Chaitanya ordered his followers to write books describing the science of bhakti. And so Srila Rupa Goswami has given us Nectar of Instruction, Upadeshamrita, and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And Srila Prabhupada has instructed us that you just take shelter of Srila Rupa Goswami. You take shelter of Lord Chaitanya, but that means to take shelter of Lord Chaitanya's followers, which means taking shelter of their writings. And just by carefully reading these two books, uh, Upadeshamrita and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and carefully trying to follow the instructions of Bhakti, then me and you, anyone who wants, Lord Krishna will gradually reveal himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and our relationship with him will awaken. So here in this verse and the previous verses, Sri Uddhava and Vidura are discussing, hearing about Krishna. They're both, of course, devotees of Krishna. And this particular verse, it's perhaps a little funny. It has some humor to it, describing how when Lord Krishna was in Dwarka, his wife Satyabhama, she wanted a special flower that only grows in the heavenly planets. And so as a good husband, as husbands do, if you're a good husband, you better do this, at least occasionally, that you know what your wife wants or she tells you, and you do your best to get that. Of course, that is only ethical. It's only moral. Anyone who does service, our children, they do things for us, so we should want to do things for them. Our husband is doing our wife, and so it is only proper that we reciprocate. So this word is used, henpecked. I don't know how many How many of us are familiar with this word henpecked? Uh, do you have the roosters and you have the hens, right? The female hens. So, pecking, you know how roosters, birds, they peck. They peck with their beaks, they peck. So, generally it is just human. It is just the way of human life. Uh, the children, the wife, they're always pecking, asking, oh, we want this, can you get this, we want this thing, that thing, right? Uh, and henpeck means that the husband knows that if I don't satisfy my wife enough, I won't get what I want. So, not to go into too much detail, but it's just the way of husband and wife relationship or boy girl relationship. The man has his desires, and naturally he's interested that the woman is happy with him so he can satisfy his desires. And Srila Prabhupada uses this word fool, how men become very foolish. Even I know some women, they know this and they laugh about it. Yes, I can make my husband do anything. I can make my boyfriend do anything. I have him wrapped around my finger. I know what he likes, and I make sure he gets me what I want. So the men who are addicted and attached uh, to all of that, uh, they will do anything. In fact, there's a verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam that says that one should not associate with a man who's like a dancing monkey in the hands of a woman. A monkey. Sometimes people keep monkey as a pet. So sometimes we know certain, not all men, but some men, they become like the slave of, I will do anything. Like a monkey. Yeah. So uh, ideally, it should not be like that. The man should have sufficient strength. He should have sufficient strength of mind to say, well, not just now, little something soon, but not now, or no. And they can be independent. You can do whatever you want, but I'm not going to be like a dancing monkey. Kind of an embarrassing position. Uh, so Srila Prabhupada points out, of course, that Lord Krishna's wife, she asked him that you get this thing. And so he got it. And Indra, the heavenly king, uh, Indra is not an ordinary person. He's not an ordinary human. Uh, but still, he's a little attached. And so his wife said, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're letting this Krishna take my flower. Go get him. So he got a little emotional and he forgot that, oh, this is Krishna, this is Bhagavan, this is God. I can't be fighting with him. So it sometimes happens. But Krishna, he is Atma Rama. He is completely fulfilled in himself. He does not need anything from anyone, and therefore he can be completely independent. Because we're not always feeling fulfilled, we do become dependent on others. We have our needs, emotional needs or physical needs, whatever it may be. Uh, but as we make advancement in devotional service, our natural spiritual pleasure manifests more. It comes out from within. The fifth chapter of Bhagavad Gita describes in different verses, in the sixth chapter in Bhagavad Gita, that by the practice of yoga, we're supposed to, or we will, feel pleasure within. We don't need someone to give us pleasure. We don't need, or less. We become less dependent upon uh, 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 having to get things from other people or to enjoy, to be happy by getting things in this material world because we're already happy. If you're already happy, then what else do you need? Right? Isn't that amazing wealth? Right? Most people, all of us, we like to have more money, right? So we can buy things. And sometimes we really need something. But, generally we humans, we want to have as much money as possible. We can get a big flat, have a nice car, maybe move to a different country and get clothes and jewelry, and right? And then we'll be happy. And so some people, many people, we work hard. But what if you are already happy, right? Isn't that fantastic wealth? Other people, they're having to work very hard, keep two jobs, and do so many things to get what they want. But if we already have, wow, isn't that's fabulous wealth? That is magical wealth. So there was one short narrative. So in this country, Mexico, so they grow so many bananas all over the world, bananas. But so there are in America, there's two large companies that do the most selling of bananas. So one of the managers, he went down to this country and he saw this man, he had a stall. You know how in the market people are selling vegetables and clothes and things. So he was selling bananas. So he said to this man, he was uh, playing a flute. He was just sitting. People were coming. The market, people come and you sell things. So he said, "Why don't you ever think of having your own plantation? You could grow so many bananas and ship them to the United States. You could build big business, make a lot of money." So this man, he said, "Oh, yes. And so what would I do? So I make a lot of money." So the manager, he said, "Well, you would have more time to relax." More time to relax and do the things that you want to do. And the man looked at him. "I don't know what you're talking about. I'm already doing that." I'm sitting here, I'm making enough money to pay my bills, and I'm sitting here playing my flute, and it's a nice day. Why should I take all that trouble? So this is the thing. By Krishna consciousness, by Krishna bhakti, we awaken our inner peace, our inner happiness. So we don't need so many things. We can be satisfied to live simply. Uh, and we can also have more strength to be independent of other people. I don't need you to value me. I have my own valuation. Krishna appreciates me. I know he does. Krishna's devotees appreciate me. And I don't need you to like me. That can be such a obstacle. Well, if I become a devotee, what will my friends think? What will this one think? What will that one think? If I do this, what will this one? Because we're dependent upon our happiness is to some degree dependent, you see? It's connected. So as we awaken in our spiritual identity, we become more independent, which doesn't mean that we're insensitive or we're mean or something. Nothing like that. But we just have more power to choose what we do. We have more power to make independent decisions. When we're more dependent, suppose we have some friends and they say, "Oh, we're going to the pub. We're gonna go and enjoy ourselves, drink and whatever." It can be hard. You're friends with them. They're asking you. It's hard to say no. It could be hard to say no. But if we have our own inner strength of Krishna bhakti, and then we can, yeah, maybe some other time. I'm really not into that lately. You go, I'll see you tomorrow. And that's it. That's it. Uh, or people we're living with, we're living with family, relatives, whoever it may be. It's certainly very good to have that kind of inner strength, to be inner happiness and inner confidence. So Lord Krishna, he is Satchidananda. He is, and Srila Prabhupada points out here that he wasn't taking the flower because he was afraid that Satyabhama would be mad at him, or Satyabhama would not massage his feet that night, or whatever. She wouldn't make a flower garland for him or something. But she was, she because of her love for him, on that basis, he wanted to reciprocate. And Lord Krishna reciprocates with all of his devotees. So I just wanted to step back. We started to talk about Lord Chaitanya's followers and how Lord Chaitanya instructed them to write books. And Srila Rupa Goswami has given us those two main books. And so the process of awakening love for Krishna um, is mostly by hearing about him, his activities, his transcendental forms, pastimes, holy names, like this. And it's a mystical thing, isn't it? I'm sure all of us have some experience when we watch a movie or we read a book, some drama, and we get emotional, isn't it? Someone gets hurt and we feel tears in our eyes, some sad scene, right? Or someone has a victory in the movie and we feel it, isn't it? We feel, oh, they won. Oh, they killed all the bad guys. We're affected. Our heart is affected by hearing. So in the same way, if we, when we, if we hear about Lord Krishna's dealings with his devotees, and there's two sides to Krishna. There is his Aishwarya, his power, how he's God, in Bhagavad Gita describing how he is controlling everything, how he is everything. And then there's the other side of Krishna, which is his uh, internal lila, his sweetness. Krishna, we understand Krishna is God, but he doesn't care about that so much. And that's not really the most important part of Krishna. The most important aspect of Lord Krishna is his love. And when we hear or read the loving dealings between Krishna's different devotees and him, it does something. It's mystical. It will awaken love for him. specifically if we're following the principles of purity. We're doing our chanting and we're striving to avoid the sinful activities and we're eating pure food like this. Then, when we hear Lord Krishna's loving dealings, just like that Nectar Devotion book, the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the last two-thirds of it, especially the last half of it, there are many, many details, descriptions of the feelings of Krishna's servants for him, Krishna's friends. There's different kinds of friends. The parental, because Lord Krishna, he has his, his birth mother and his stepmother, and then many of the older ladies of the village, they also had motherly feelings towards Krishna. And then, of course, the young ladies of Vrindavan and their romantic feelings for Krishna. These are described in great detail. Lord Krishna's, how he feels about them, and how they feel about him. And there is a very special power in hearing that. Our process is bhajana kriya. That's the main practice. But while following the pure life, I'm just thinking it's very important not just to hear uh, about Krishna's power, but especially to hear about Krishna's sweet, loving dealings with his devotees. And we will find this all in Srimad Bhagavatam, but especially in the 10th canto, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, because Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, Lord Chaitanya's dealings with his devotees, and Lord Krishna's relationships. We shouldn't think, oh, this is too advanced. It's not for me. No, no, we must hear about Krishna's personal relationships. That will greatly help us to fall in love with him. So I'll stop here. Are there any questions or comments, discussion?
Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances on behalf of the six of us in Dhaka. We are very quite attentive. I mean, we are listening. Yes, yeah. Yes, yes, yeah. It was raining. We said to come to the campus.
Very nice. Very nice. Good. Thank you for joining with us.
Yes, 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 yes. They had come for a small graduation ceremony.
Oh,
But yeah, but as you said, it's not, you're not really looking for happiness in the party or anything, or
yeah,
in
yeah.
in the graduation, better after graduation or something.
Yeah.
It's trying to be happy even before for these events. That's the best way of saying the best way that you can ever have.
Yeah.
Always be happy at Maram. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Very good. Anyone else? Someone has some comments, questions?
Yeah, one of us was asking, there were two books we talked about, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and which one else?
I
There
I missed what was the question?
you talked about two books, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and
Yes,
another one. Yeah, and another one that you missed.
yes. Bhakti
Which one is it?
Rasamrita Sindhu. Very important. It
Yes.
is the law book of Bhakti.
Uh-huh. And the other one was, you talked about two books.
Yeah, you can find it online. You can find
Yeah,
it. Just do search, Google or something. Also,
yeah.
YouTube
Yes.
has narrations. You can just listen to it.
There was another book that you talked about. There were two of them.
Yes, Upadesh
Yes.
Amrita,
The
Nectar
Dash.
Amrita, Nectar. Srila Prabhupada said we should read that first. In fact, he gives blessing. He says that if anyone follows it's only 11 verses. It's very small book. But he says anyone who follows those, they will be completely successful. So that's very valuable advice. You know, we want to be successful. So he has said, you read that little book, you follow it, you'll be successful. Yeah. Upadeshamrita, nectar of instruction.
Open up to maybe wish Prabhu. You have comments. Sure.
Anything else?
Wish Doreen or Renuka.
Kush, did you have something?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. I have couple of questions and like they're a bit broad, but related to what you've been telling today. Um, so for me personally, I've been associated with many years, but I haven't read Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion scrutinizingly. I keep reading the Bhagavad Gita as it is, and like whenever I reread it, I find something new. So that's like so I couldn't never like graduate beyond to even reading Srimad Bhagavatam or like because every time I read it, there's something new, just like
Yeah.
that one comment. I have read Krishna book though, so I understand that is related with the pastimes. So, and another comment was like in this verse, there was that Parijat flower that Krishna took for his wife. If I'm right, it's called the Parijat flower, right? I think jasmine. So with flowers, I have this like broad question. Like there's that verse in the Bhagavad Gita that any flower offered with devotion is accepted. So I wasn't like clear. I'm growing some flowers, at home. Which flowers can be offered and which cannot be offered? So I heard like they should be fragrant, but then I wasn't like sure. Like I got some flower varieties like zinnia, cosmos, and then this a night flower, jasmine, and this periwinkle, especially. I googled their English names. In Hindi, we call something different. So, can this periwinkle flower be offered to Krishna?
Any flower, leaf, as long as it's doesn't have anything to do with meat, and it has
Okay,
uh, some fragrance. Why would we want to give anyone something? Here in America, I don't know there, but the growers, they're making flowers without scent.
okay,
They're they're removing the fragrant oil so that the flowers they last longer in the market. So they
okay,
look like flowers, but there's hardly any scent. Very
uh,
ridiculous thing. So it just says we should offer fragrant, something with an aroma.
okay.
Yeah,
Are
that's
there
it.
any particular flowers that Krishna likes more?
I haven't heard, just Tulsi,
Uh,
specifically Tulsi buds. Uh,
okay,
yes, Tulsi is the best, but Krishna's more interested in the just our desire to please him.
okay,
Yeah, not so much the item,
okay,
fortunately.
okay, okay. And I had a question from one of your last class also, which you were giving. Is it okay if I can ask, or maybe later?
Yes, yes, anything, Krishna Katha.
Okay, so you last class you were telling about hearing, the importance of hearing, and then you said Prabhupada said that he is in his books, and then you also said there is also importance of living guru. The living guru is also very important. So in ISKCON, we see like the living gurus, say His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. They have like more than 50,000 disciples. I heard like Prabhupada said that you should have at least 50,000. but then it crossed beyond the 50,000 disciples. So how do we understand, I mean, for one guru, how it is possible to give guidance to so many disciples? So is it like they guide through their senior disciples? Is it like that? Like if one guru is having like more than 50,000 disciples, then like how are they able to guide individually? Is it like through their senior disciples, and like they remember the
Yeah, I mean,
concept?
how did Srila Prabhupada manage it? He
Yeah.
had something like 10,000 disciples. So he didn't hesitate, but he gave the instruction that if you have question, ask the senior devotees, because the instructions are going to be the same. They're Lord
Okay.
Krishna's instructions. There's nothing new. It's just a matter of being familiar with Lord Chaitanya or Lord Krishna's instructions or Srila Prabhupada's instructions and repeating them. In principle, that's not a difficult thing to do. So then, for all of the disciples, if they have confidence, oh yes, this person they repeat without changing and they're very familiar, uh,
Mhm.
then that's how it worked when Srila Prabhupada was on the planet. I mean, it's a good question, but it has a simple answer.
Okay. Uh, okay. And like you also talked about like Krishna's loving dealings with his devotees. And Krishna also says in the Gita that one who is devotee of my devotee, as you emphasize that he is my devotee, devotee of devotee. So we should take care of devotees, like in our congregation, and like so like how do we differentiate between like taking care of devotees and then being too attached to them? Like how can we like differentiate these two things? Like we may
Yeah,
have.
that's a good question. But one thing that comes to mind is that uh, two things. One is Srila Prabhupada writes in the Bhagavad Gita that if we keep our sadhana and we keep in sattva guna, then what to do will be much more clear. And then if it's not clear enough, we can ask a senior person that, what do I do in this particular situation? So much is the more Krishna conscious we are, then everything will go as good as it can go. Uh, or we will do things in a proper way. And then to the extent that our Krishna consciousness is not strong enough, then there can be all kinds of issues. So, as Gandhi said, sometimes the best thing we can do for anyone is to take care of ourselves. So it's important to be as strongly situated in Krishna conscious sadhana and practices, and then things will be as clear as they can be. Uh, the question, about taking care of other devotees or taking care of relatives, or though I mean, it may sound what they call a pat answer or like some kind of canned automatic answer, but it's actually true. A lot of these things become clear and easier just by being more fixed in Krishna consciousness ourselves. And we'll be guided and be able to hear Super Soul within. Does that make sense?
Yeah, make perfect sense.
Yeah. Yeah, especially, for those of us who are regularly mixing in the outside world, it's so important to do the best we can to keep the core practices uh, so that we have the right vision.
Conscious.
If our vision is somewhat blocked, there's going to be difficulties. It's going to be more difficult. So we have to be careful. Yeah. Is that all right?
Yes, and
Yeah.
one last query I have. So, like you said, there is an importance of a living guru. So, like, for many people, they don't have a Diksha guru yet. They might be aspiring. So, say for me, how often, like, say if I'm planning some spiritual activity beyond the 4 hours of sadhana, like we do 4 hours sadhana, we do Mangal Aarti, 16 round chanting, and some reading, hearing of Prabhupada books. So beyond that, say if I want to go to Vrindavan, because it's nearby. So how often should we like seek, say for me, how often shall I seek permission from you, or for even generally, how often we should seek permission from our Siksha Guru? Because I heard like whatever we do, it should be authorized, or say if we are doing some other
It's a
extra ceremony.
yeah, it's a very good question.
Mhm.
Fortunately, there's just general instructions, what they call blanket instructions.
Mhm.
And as long as we're functioning within that circle, we don't need to ask every time. Uh, like the spiritual, like we're instructed that offer Krishna uh, vegetarian foodstuffs. And so, of course, we don't have to ask every meal, what should I cook? Just as long as it's vegetarian and you prepare it in a clean way, you're free to do whatever you want. Uh, so there's basic guidelines that whatever is helpful for our Krishna consciousness, we can do that, and we should do that. And if there's something which is uh, harmful or doesn't help our Krishna bhakti, then we should not do it. And that's the large circle. That's a large circle. And then within that, if there's a question, and then we can ask a senior devotee that I'm not sure if this will be favorable or not favorable. You see, big things, we might ask, what do you think? I want to move here. I want to change this job. I want to be married or whatever it is. Big things. It's always good to get advice from someone. Is that helpful?
Yeah, that's helpful. So within the bigger circle, it will say if somebody want to chant 64 rounds. So that should be within the circle. So I need not ask, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Yeah,
And
yeah.
for like trips to Vrindavan, I believe they are okay, because some people say that like there are many people there, but for me, I would go to ISKCON temple only. So I feel
Absolutely. I mean,
okay.
that's one of the five main practices of bhakti, if someone can do it, is to
Okay.
live in Vrajadam
Okay.
or Dwarkadam or Jagannath Puri Dham. So that
Okay.
nectar of devotion, it describes in detail how to practice bhakti. That's one reason it's so important. It covers about everything, and by being familiar with that, there's not a whole lot left to not know about how to practice Krishna bhakti. Yeah. In general, we could say that the first and foremost is to how much it helps my remembering Krishna and helps me increase my love for Krishna. And then the second level, it depends because we're all at different points. Not all of us are initiated. Some people are initiated. Some people. So the next level is what helps us stay in sattva guna. What helps us stay away from raja and should I do this or should I do that? Well, it's going to help you be in sattva guna, or suppose someone they just learned about Krishna consciousness, and so they ask you, what kind of television should I watch? So you can't tell them to stop. You can't tell them to stop. How many times should I go to the beach? How many times should I go play soccer? You can't tell them to stop, but uh, do those things as much as you gives you peace of mind, and then you're able to do your japa and you're able to read with peace of mind. And for you, you feel peaceful, and it doesn't it doesn't it takes away as little time as possible from the basic practices of Krishna consciousness. And this is even true in the beginning, so perhaps in the beginning years of being initiated. You know, we have to be so sattva guna, because sattva guna is the foundation of Krishna bhakti. Of course, we're not going to. No sannyasi is going to ask, well, what kind of movies should I watch? That's not a question. They're beyond that. So for each person, depending where they are, we have to give advice that helps them to. So you're going to watch television, don't watch some sexual things. Don't watch a lot of violence. Try and watch documentaries. Learn something, because sattva guna means education. So something learning, something in the nature, if that's, like that. That's why don't go to the pub, just go to some uh, what is it, vegetarian restaurant or something. And you want to listen to music? Well, listen to, something which is sattva guna. Listen to classical music or listen to some instrumental where you don't have to hear all the words about God knows what. So in this way, this is practical instruction, which is helpful uh, to, very helpful to certain devotees. These are very important questions. And we have to be intelligent and broad-minded. Oh, why are you telling that person to listen to instrumental? Because what am I going to tell them? To stop? They'll become very unhappy. And Krishna consciousness is a lot about yes, Srila Prabhupada said. Just increase seeing Krishna, increase hearing about him, and then automatically, I don't feel like doing that. I just want to see the deity. So we push the yes. And then we also mentioned that, the less you do that, the more it will help your Krishna consciousness. Is that all right?
It sounds like opposite of uh, Mayavad. In Mayavad, they use the word more. Neti, neti means no, no, not this, like that. So we are like yes, yes, yes. More.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and people like that. Oh, yeah, I can keep listening to music? Sure, sure. Just, every day hear something about Krishna, do 2, 3 rounds of japa, and then automatically, they may not know it, but after some time, nah, I don't want to listen to that much, once a month maybe. It's automatic, yes. And whatever it is, anything in the material world, it's very difficult to hard stop. But we put some, it's good, like someone is smoking. Well, try to minimize, to make it regulated. 2, 3 cigarettes a week, that's it. And then we'll reduce gradually. And that makes it very real, very practical. People can live with that. And people become frightened sometimes. Oh, I have to give up all this. I don't want anything to do with that, Hare Krishna. So it's better the other way. Yes, eat whatever you want. Just vegetarian, offer it to Krishna. And then later we can make suggestions. Try not to eat it too much at night and not too much rich food. So those things are later.
Okay.
Acha.
Yes, yes,
So we need to end.
yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. His Grace
Hare
Dina
Krishna.
Shri Prabhu ki jai. Jai Shri
Yeah,
Prabhu. Jai.
yeah. Thank you so much, Push Prabhu, for those beautiful questions. I'm really asking them for everyone here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Kush is always asking good questions. Very good.
Yeah,
Practical questions. Yeah.
Thank you.
yeah. Everyone.
All
Okay,
good.
okay, let
So we should end.
Doreen Mataji
Yes.
to end the session. Doreen Mataji, are you able to end the session today? Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much for that enlightening class. We've learned a lot, and thank you for dedicating your time every Sunday to share with us this nectar. For the assembled devotees who have attended the class, thank you so much. And for those wonderful questions by Kush and Google,
Thank you.
we really appreciate. In glorification of Dina Sharana and His Grace Dina Sharana Das Prabhuji, let's all unmute and chant one round of the great Maha Mantra.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Pancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhu Evacha, Patitana Bhavani, Vaishnavi. Jai,
Ijai.
Sharana Prabhu.
Jai, Jai. Thank you.
Thank you so much for
Hare-
having me. It so much helps my Krishna consciousness and all of us. I wish everyone a safe and happy week. Hare Krishna. Until next time.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.